So today we celebrated 6 years as a church plant, and I don't know how I feel. I have a hard time embracing big moments in life, and I don't quite know why that is. I need to talk to my therapist about that. I was a kid who usually had birthdays and stuff like that, but as an adult, I feel like those moments have been downplayed quite a bit. And I don't know if it's because I often am disappointed by how other people view big moments, but big moments are hard for me to embrace. And it's only through talking to a few of my mentors and, just really good friends that I realized how big of a milestone 6 years is for a church planter. Many church plants fail within the first 3 years. A lot more fail within the first 5 years, and even more don't make it to 10 years. And although we have not quite made it to 10, we've crossed kind of that threshold where we've moved through three and we've moved through five. And I think our church is not only stronger than ever, but it's healthier than it's ever been. And yet, man, like there's still this temptation in the flesh and these thoughts brought on by the evil one that says like what we're doing is not important. Who we are is not that big. We are nowhere near as old as the historically black churches on our street. We're nowhere near as big as some of the other church plants that have different theology and a different missiology and a different thought about justice and equality and serving the neighborhood. There are churches in different areas, different cities, bigger cities that are 3, 4 times our size, and they started earlier or later than us. And yet, man, I talk to dozens of church planters all the time. Every year, I'm talking to dozens of church planters, and it's not very often that you can find a church that's multi-ethnic, led by black leadership, that's in an urban area, and is not a part of a major denomination, and is healthy somewhat, and also is authentic, in a way where relationships are developed and people are encouraged and inspired for the most part. And man, there's so many things that I don't have as a leader. I'm not organizational genius. I am not a church planting savant. I'm not the best preacher. But man, I trust God, and trusting God is hard a lot of the times. But it gives me a basis to keep going because I think what I've developed is this muscle to not care as much about what other people say and how they view certain things. And that can be challenging in some seasons. And it's probably a little challenging to other people because I have grown to be very slow to move, and I don't often commit to things quickly. And there are shifts that other people desire that I don't quickly run after. But it's only because I need to be sure. And I trust the Spirit's leading so much that I am slow, not out of the sake of not caring, but caring way more about having a green light from God. I don't know. I'm kind of ranting today. But as I reflect on 6 years, I'm grateful. We've had a lot of transition. We've lost a lot of young people. We've lost some older people who I love dearly. I still love to this day. We've lost a lot of supporters. especially through the pandemic and 2020 and that era. But man, I was telling one of my friends yesterday, man, we're free. We feel free, and we feel like we can be ourselves, and that's fitting because the name of our church is Identity Church. And I don't know, my prayer is that we would get to celebrate 20 years and 30 years as a church. And I pray that I can celebrate 20 years as a pastor at Identity, 30 years maybe as a pastor at Identity. And man, I am more than ever just desiring to get through my life and not have any moral failure, not have any divisiveness that destroys the ministry, to not lose my family or my wife, that my kids follow Jesus and care deeply for people, and that I do exactly what the Spirit has led me to. And I have deep communion with God. If you have ever met one of those older people who you just like listen to them and know, man, they know Jesus. They are in deep relationship with the Holy Spirit. That's what I pray for. So as we celebrate 6 years, I am grateful and how far the Lord has taken me. I started at eager church planter, wanting to see a multi-ethnic church built that would take over the city and change the way that people saw Daytona Beach. And I've lost a lot of that. Now I stand 6 years planting, post launch rather. I just want people to grow in Jesus, honestly. You know, whether you're just coming to Jesus, whether you've been walking with Jesus for decades, no matter what it is, I want people to grow in the Lord and continue to walk with them. So those are my thoughts. 6-year anniversary. We had a good time. A friend of mine, Pastor Jamal Williams, preached our 6 years. He's the president of Harbor Network and a friend of mine, and pastor at Sojourn Midtown in Louisville, Kentucky. And we ordained 2 elders today, one of which is a friend of mine, Ty, and we hosted a podcast together. He's a pastor, I'm the rapper, which was amazing. And another man who I deeply respect. And both of those guys have been with our church literally since we were meeting in the living room of my house 6-7 years ago. And to be able to ordain elders who have already been in deep fellowship with you and who love the Lord deeply and love other people, that's a big deal. And it took, some other people seeing that to remind me of that. So I don't know, just ranting. Gonna post this on YouTube and for the sake of just documentation and hopefully be able to go back to it in the future. I often am thinking about how these works can encourage younger church planters and even church planters who are older, who are going along in the process. And honestly, I don't have any particular words of encouragement. I would just say, man, keep going and keep listening to Jesus more than anyone else. Keep listening for the Spirit more than anyone else. Allow for God to truly lead your ministry, and don't allow the world or fear to determine how you are going to love people, lead people, and follow Yeshua. That's all I've tried to do. And I don't do it perfectly, but I'm grateful for the walk that God has given me so far. So y'all pray for me. Here's to 6 years.